miscellaneous problem, and some are from your workbook, some are a few others as well. So let's get started. Okay. Let's start with this question. In this question, 7 capacitors, all identical ones, are connected as shown in the figure. And if we have to find equivalent capacitance between point A and B, how do we find equivalent capacitance? So again, as we notice in this case, there's nothing in parallel, nothing in series. No two capacitors in parallel, nothing in series. And it will not even come as a VT stone. So, but only thing what we notice, we know there's some kind of symmetry. It's not arranged in a random fashion, there's some kind of symmetry. So we'll use a symmetry and some questions wherever it exists. Let's see, so how do we make use of symmetry here? Okay, so there are pair of capacitors which are symmetrically placed. So if I look at this capacitor here, there's a corresponding capacitor here. This also symmetric to this. These two are symmetric to each other. This also symmetric to each other. So before I proceed further, one more thing we learn when we say find the equivalent capacitance between A and B. We never say but which terminal the positive has to connect it, which terminal the negative terminal has to be connected. So which basically means the capacitance is not dependent on polarity of the terminals. Between A and B is same as B and A. It's not dependent on direction. So only thing what will happen, rather than connecting, suppose see here, if I connect positive terminal here, this plate will end up getting positive charge. But this is when A is positive and B is negative. If we reverse the terminal, what will happen? Actually, when we reverse the terminal, keeping the voltage of battery same, every single capacitor charge will remain same, only polarity will reverse. The plate which had positive charge will end up having negative charge. I hope this point is understood. If terminals of the batteries are interchanged, the charge on each capacitor remains the same. Since the charge distribution doesn't change, the equivalent capacitance also does not change. That's why we don't talk about which is positive, which is negative. So we are going to use some of these properties. I think this makes common sense and this is not much of proof. We can give a proof also, but not necessary. So if the terminals of batteries are interchanged, the charge on the capacitors remain same. Polarity may interchange, but when we talk about charge, we talk about charge on the positive plate. The positive plate, see if this case, if A is connected to this capacitor, if A is connected to positive terminal, the left plate will have positive charge. But if B is connected to positive terminal, the right plate will have positive charge. But charge on this, if potential remains same, remains the same. So how do you use this property? So if let's see what happens here. So because of this charge, now if what does symmetry mean? These two are symmetrical to each other, which implies if this capacitor has charge Q1, this also will have Q1. So which means if A is connected to positive terminal, this plate will have positive Q1, and lower one will have negative Q1. So this also will have similar. Because they are similar, so all the capacitors which are placed symmetric will have similar charge. So similar way, this two will have another thing also. If this has Q2, this also will have charge Q2. Okay, so that is the symmetry what we can make use of. If we find a pair of capacitors which are symmetrically placed, they will have equal charge. And we can deduce that fact based on the fact that terminals of battery are interchanged, the capacitance also remains same. So what it means, see, suppose if I take example, suppose I am not sure. I say, no, this may be Q2 and this may be Q3. Okay, so when I connect same battery to positive terminal, this is Q2 and this is Q3. But what will happen when I interchange? When I interchange the terminal polarity of the battery, this capacitor has exactly the same position with reference to positive terminal battery as this capacitor had. So this should have same charge which this particular capacitor had. So they have to have the same charge. So two capacitors which are symmetrically placed have to have same charge. Okay, similar way. Okay. So when we look at this, if the charges are same, what we find here, this is plus Q, this will be minus Q, and again this will be plus Q, and this will be Q1, this will be minus Q1, and this again will be plus Q1, and this will be minus Q1. And similarly, the right plate will have, if A is connected to positive terminal, if this is Q2, this will be minus Q2, and this will be plus Q2. So what you notice here, actually the junction P is not playing much of a role. Whatever charge has come onto the right plate here of this capacitor, same thing has gone to the left plate of next capacitor. Here also, whatever charge has come onto this capacitor, this and this put together, the charge is 0. So this junction does not redistribute this charge. Actually, if I remove this junction also, if I slightly modify the junction in such a way, the charge distribution does not change. If the charge distribution does not change, the capacitance does not change either. Because capacitance is based on charge distribution, and charge distribution affects the field, and that affects the potential difference. So so let's see how do we alter the connection here. The way we alter this, the connectivity. Suppose what I do, I remove this junction here and connect it like this. Still, what will happen? This something still it will give the same charge distribution. These two will get connected in series. Now it makes sense, they have the same charge. These two connected in series, they have the same charge. Or actually what you have done the reverse. Since these two capacitors have equal charge, they are equivalent to being connected in series. These two capacitors have equal charge, they are equivalent to connected in series. So this connection is futile. We can remove this connection. Still these two become in series, and these two become in series. So we can modify some of the junctions in this fashion. And when we modify the junction in this fashion, charge distribution does not change. If the charge distribution does not change, the capacitance also does not change. Moment I remove this junction, now it is easy to calculate the capacitance. These two become in series, I find equivalent, and then these two become in parallel. And by successive reduction by parallel series combination, we can find the equivalent capacitance. So that's a way we apply symmetry. I hope some of you have followed what is the method of application of symmetry. Any questions so far?
Sir?
Yes?
Sir, how did we justify that even if we remove the junction, the charge distribution does not change, sir? I missed that point.
Okay, so let me see. See, these two, what are the charge this one has? First, we said these two are symmetrical. Both have charge Q2, Q2.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when does the charge two capacitors have the same charge?
If they're in series.
They're series. What does series mean? No branch here.
Oh, got it, sir.
And what is Q1, Q1? Again, they have same charge.
Series.
So, though, see what is happening, this junction is there, but actually because of symmetry, the junction is not playing the role of redistribution of charge. So whatever charge, these two are being shared. So whenever such thing exists, we can remove that junction. Moment we remove the junction, it becomes easier to solve. So,
yes, sir.
So what we have done the reverse logic. Reverse logic what we used, if two capacitors have the same charge, it basically means they're as good as directly connected. See, this interchange of charge is happening only between two plates. Okay, that's why they have the same charge. So if you remove if I remove the connection also, charge distribution remains same. Now it can be simplified. So similar logic will apply in the next case also. See whether you can spot what correction I can make in the circuit so that we can solve this question. This is from your workbook. See, do you notice what is symmetry and what changes we can make in the circuit so that we can, yes, Asha.
So can we solve these kind of questions without symmetry?
We can solve, but much lengthier. I will come to some question later on, which will go solve with very basic approach without using symmetry. And then you notice, yes, it can be solved, but what happens, it becomes much lengthier process.
Okay, sir.
We'll see how we'll solve later on. This case, can you think of simplifying the circuit so that it becomes like parallel series combination, taking advantage of symmetry? Some of you can spot it. See that which are symmetrically placed and where we can, which junction can be modified in such a fashion the charge distribution remains unaffected. Some of you can notice it. Some of you spot any such modification. similar to what we had done in previous case. That modification. So yes, the junction, identify suitable junction reduction which does not alter charge distribution. So this is the one we can remove. Notice, yes, this junction we can remove and we can have a direct connection like this. Similarly, in the bottom side also, we can remove the junction which has direct connection. Now, what happens, advantage of this? These two become in series, these two become in series, and these two become in series. And later on, simple reduction in parallel series combination, the question can be solved. I'm not solving the question now. This is what you will do in the work session today. Okay.
Sir?
Yes?
Sir, why can't we, like in this and the previous question, what's the reason we didn't use that Wheatstone bridge principle?
Is Wheatstone applicable? Because it is not. Wheatstone comes in case of like this. You have something collected on a diagonal. If there are 2 points which are the same potential. We don't spot such 2 points here. See, had some capacitor been connected between this point and this point, because symmetry, I would say these 2 points are at the same potential. I could have removed that capacitor. Are you understanding? These 2 points are at the same potential.
Yes, sir.
These 2 points are at the same potential because symmetry. But otherwise, there's no Wheatstone there. Just look at this. You won't find any.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this question and previous question. So we have modified. Now we can parallel series combination. We can solve this question. And this question again, rest of the process is simple. And you can do in your work session today. There's something called actually Kirchhoff loop rule, which is nothing but modified form of conservative force. What we say in conservative force, work done in a closed path is zero. What does closed path mean? You start from a point, you come back to the same point, and you calculate positive or negative work. If you take the net of all the work done, comes to zero. If work done is zero, work done on unit charge also will be zero. When a unit charge is taken around a closed loop, what should be the work done in a work done on unit charge when it's taken around a closed loop? Due to conservative force, it has to be zero. So that is something. Kirchhoff law is a special law. Law is something very similar to property of law of conservative forces. It is more applicable in case of electrostatic conservative force, and is applicable in case of a loop, because in loop we take it along the connecting wires. There's a path defined. So the wordings could be like this: as we move around the loop, or as we worldwide many times we use as a traverse loop. Traverse loop means starting from any point on the loop and ending at the same point. You have to start from point, whichever point you choose, end up the same point. Sorry, net charge, not net change in potential will be zero. Correct this word, net change in potential will be zero. So when we traverse the loop, net change in potential will be zero. And we'll see how to apply. And where does it come from? This is nothing but same extension of logic of conservative forces. And we'll use this law somewhere. So when we move, so when is the change in potential? When we talk about change in potential, means sometimes there's a plus and sometimes change is minus. So far, we have dealt with two kind of electrical equipments. One is battery and one is capacitor. So when we move from negative terminal to the positive terminal of the battery, potential increases by amount equal to potential of the battery, or which is called EMF of the battery. So when we move from negative to positive terminal, we have to change in potential positive. When we move from positive to negative, we have to change it in negative. Very common sense, simple thing. Similar thing happens in case of charge capacitor. As we move from negative plate to positive plate, potential increases. As we move from positive plate to negative plate, potential decreases. We have to take plus or minus depending on how are we traversing or how are we moving across the capacitor or a battery. We'll take some example. We can choose any starting point on any direction. We can go in the clockwise direction. We can go in anti-clockwise direction. To apply Kirchhoff loop rule, all we need to do is start from a point and at the same point. It can be anywhere on the loop, and it can be any direction, clockwise or anti-clockwise. So we'll use some application of something. We'll apply that equation in this case. This case, it cannot be solved otherwise other than basic approach. So as someone is saying, can we solve without symmetry? We'll solve this question partly using symmetry, partly not using symmetry. So does symmetry exist here? Let's look at that. This case is not a Wheatstone. If this is C and 2C, if this also was C and 2C, it would have been Wheatstone. But this C and C are here and this 2C are across. So there are 5 connective capacitors connected in this fashion. Find the equivalent capacitance between X and Y. So we could have done from very basic approach. I will do part basic approach and part symmetry. So I will tell you also, if we don't use the part symmetry, the question solution becomes longer, but basic approach remains same. So this question is a little different kind of question, and you need to be really attentive to understand what it means. So slightly more complex compared to previous one. Can start from very basic approach. Only thing what I noticed, there's some kind of symmetry, but it's kind of skewed. So only thing what we connect here, see this when we connect positive terminal to X, this charge, this C has a particular position in the system. Let's say this gets a charge Q1. But if I connect the positive terminal to Y, whatever position C has, exactly the same position this capacitor has. So if this gets a charge Q1, when we connect positive terminal here, this also should get a charge plus Q1. Which basically means when we connect positive terminal to Y, if this plate gets charge plus Q1, when we connect positive terminal at X, the other plate should get charge plus Q1. Which basically means if this gets whatever charge this capacitor gets, same charge this capacitor should get. Similar way, whatever charge 2C has, same charge this 2C should have. So those who are not followed, this is something we're not giving a proof. It is possible to give a proof, but again, it is time consuming. And I know this is so useful. If you want, you can do some other time. You can give a proof also, and I will give you a hint also. But without proof also, I can use the symmetry. If the charge is Q here, Q1 here, this also will have Q1. And this charge on this capacitor is Q2, this also will be Q2. That, if I make that assumption, it makes problems slightly easier to solve. Few steps less. So charge distribution. Let me mark the charge distribution. So this question we are going to solve with the basic approach. Capacitance between 2 points is equal to charge given to the junction divided by potential difference between 2 points. So I'm going to base charge distribution. I'm going to find potential difference. Ratio of charge given by potential difference will be the capacitance. First, just look at what happens here. Again, we'll review what has happened and understand better. So let's look at charge distribution. Let's see how do we do the charge distribution. Okay. So what assumption making? If this one has Q1 and Q1, this capacitor has charge Q1. I'm assuming positive terminal connected to X plus Q1 minus Q1. This capacitor also should have similar charge. So this also should be plus Q1 minus Q1. This is Q1. I can't assume this will have same charge. This will have some different charge. So let me assume this has charge Q2. This has minus Q2. This also charge will have Q2 and minus Q2. That's the second distribution. Based on this, how about charge on this capacitor C? Do we have to assume quantity Q3, or can I express charge on this capacitor in terms of Q1 and Q2? Do I have to assume charge as Q3, one more variable charge? Because already I assumed 2 variables, Q1 and Q2. Because charges are not same, I have to assume 2 different values of charge. Can I describe the charge on this particular capacitor in terms of Q1 and Q2? I can
Q1 minus Q2.
Q1 minus Q2, that's right.
Basically, because what it is, this plate plus this particular plate, they form an isolated system. So sum of the charge on all 3 put together has to be 0. So I can write this charge in terms of this is minus Q1, this will have charge plus Q1. So plus Q1 minus Q2. That's the charge this particular plate will have. So I can express third charge like this, plus Q1 minus Q2. Now these 3 plates plus connecting wire forming an isolated system, net charge is 0, all charge given. So this is Q1 minus Q2, and opposite will have negative of that. I don't know. Okay. So this is the per distribution now. Now what are you going to do? So this is the charge distribution. We have arrived at charge distribution in terms of 2 variables, Q1 and Q2. Now we'll find are Q1 and Q2 related. I'll find the relation between Q1 and Q2 by applying loop rule. Let's see how do you apply loop rule. So this is also, and first time we are making use of loop rule, and we'll use it at least 20-30 times in next 15-20 days. So let's start. Where's the starting point? I am applying the loop rule. I have starting from where? Let's say I'm starting from this corner and going in a clockwise direction. If I start from here, until this point, no change in potential. But as I move from positive plate to negative plate, potential changes. Now there's a field here. What is the change in potential? Plus or minus. Change in potential is equal to potential of the battery, which is Q by C. Magnitude is Q1 by C. But as we move from positive to negative, there's a drop. That's why I put the change in potential equal to minus Q1 by C. All of you understood why it is Q1 by C and why it is negative. Because I am crossing from positive plate to negative plate. Okay, so this is minus Q1 by C. Then I move from here to this point and I move up to this point. No change in potential. Okay, conducting wire.
Again
I
a drop.
move from positive to negative. As I move to positive, negative, change in potential is equal to charge on the capacitor divided by its capacitance. Again, negative sign, Q1 minus Q2 divided by C. But from here again, come here. I am now moving from negative to positive. Negative
Increases.
positive is increase in potential plus charge on the capacitor divided by its capacitance. Q2 divided by 2C. Thus equate whole thing equals to 0. When I come back to the same point, net change in potential has to be 0. So by applying law of conservation of energy in a closed loop, it has to be 0. I will find an equation between Q1 and Q2. Okay. Most of you followed. All of you just look at this, what you have done. Suppose I have applied the same rule starting from here in the light loop. If I start from here, if I go positive to negative, I would have written as plus to minus negative drop minus Q2 by 2C. Here I would have written as I keep moving around. I can select this. So basically, simple rule what we need to apply, negative to positive increase, positive to negative decrease. As simple as that, nothing very complicated. And we keep changing at a plus minus sign, that is 0. So it gives you a relationship between Q2 and Q1. You simplify, C term gets eliminated. So 3Q2 is equal to 4Q1. We get equation between Q1 and Q2. Okay. Next, what I'm going to do, I'm going to find the potential difference between X and Y. Because that's to find equivalent potential, I'm finding Vx minus Vy. What is Vx minus Vy? So as we Vx minus Vy, first of all, as again Vx minus Vy is one way of thinking would I'm starting from Vx. As we go from here to here, is there this point is lower or higher compared to X? This point potential is Vx. What is the potential at this point here on the right hand side? As we have done earlier, it will be minus Q1 by C. So this point potential. So what is potential at any point here? Vx minus Q1 by C. And what is the potential here? So what is Vy equal to? Vx minus Q1 by C minus Q2 by 2C. Or Vx minus Vy is equal to Q1 by C plus Q2 by 2C. That is Vx minus Vy. Okay. So Vx minus Vy also, we find, if you have to find potential difference between these 2 points, first I find between this and this, and then I find potential difference this and this. Both cases, potential value will come positive. There's a drop is taking place. All of you are okay with Vx minus Vy? So I found Vx minus Vy. How do we find equivalent capacitance between X and Y? Equivalent capacitance between X and Y depends on what charge has been given at X and what is the potential difference between X and Y. Can someone tell what is the charge given at point X here in this case? How much charge has been given at junction X? Q? What is
Q1 plus Q2.
Q1 plus Q2.
1 plus Q2. So to find capacitance between point X and Y, capacitance is equal to Q, C is equal to Q by V. So charge given is Q1 by Q2 and potential difference is Vx minus Vy. I'll put those values. So what is capacitance between X and Y? X and Y capacitance is charge given between X and Y, which is charge given is, you understand, what is charge given? Since there are 2 combinations, this is the charge given, part of it has come here and part of it gone here. So charge given is Q1 plus Q2. So what is Cxy, capacitance between X and Y, is charge given divided by potential difference. This is Q1 plus Q2. I express Q1, I express, so this is, and Vx minus Vy is substitute these 2 values. So 2C comes in the numerator, Q1 plus Q2 divided by 2Q1 plus Q2. Now we substitute Q2 in terms of Q1. Both Q1 term and numerator and denominator will cancel out. I get a value of Cxy as 7 by 5C. Okay. How many have followed what you have done? I hope some of you are getting hang of what you are doing here. How many have followed this part so far? Okay. Okay, I think good. I think so good. So many of you have understood. And this part, what we'll do now today also evening session, doubt session also. I will not do much new. I would expect, see what happens when we somebody explains. We understand step by step, but all steps put together doesn't go in our head. So what we need to do, we need to go through a couple of times. So again, to start, what we have done here, just look at this. Again, I'll just quickly run through back once again. See that we have understood. And this time, before I say, you think in your mind what you have done. This is a charge system given. What is the first point we start with? We start with noticing some kind of symmetry. Because symmetry, what I assume, these two are similar. So if this has charge Q1, this also will have Q1. If this will have Q2, this also will have Q2. So I start with the charge distribution first. So what I have done, I have given plus Q1 minus Q1. And other pair also which is symmetrical, I have also given same charge. Then I have given charge to other capacitor. This corresponding pair also given same charge. Third charge I have not written Q3 because if I write Q3 it becomes additional variable and then I apply junction rule. So directly what I have done, I have written this charge based in terms of Q1 and Q2, treating this whole system as an isolated system. So I write the charge on this capacitance, which is equal to Q1 minus Q2. I hope all of you understand. What I could have done, otherwise I written this charge as Q3. Q3 minus Q1 plus Q2 is equal to 0. I could have written that equation. I have just cut short that step. I could have written this charge Q3 and then I have written the value Q3 minus Q1 plus Q2 is equal to 0. It is isolated system, which gives this value of Q3 is equal to Q1 minus Q2. I have finished charge distribution. After finishing charge distribution, I'll calculate potential. I find the relationship between Q1 and Q2. How do I find relationship between Q1 and Q2? By applying Kirchhoff loop rule. I start from one point, negative to positive plus sign, positive to negative, minus sign, negative to positive plus sign. And change in potential is equal to V is equal to Q by C. So based on loop rule, from here, negative sign, positive. This also negative sign, this is positive sign. If we take care of sign, then we put those values. We get an equation, and this equation gives me relationship between Q1 and Q2. Then I find potential difference between X and Y. Okay. Had there been only one capacitor, I would have written Vx and mu, Vx minus Vy as Q1 by C. Since there are two of them, I have to add both of them. So potential differences is like these two are, so Q1 by C plus Q2 by 2C. That's the potential difference between X and Y. I've taken potential difference along this path. If I take along this path also, it will come same. If I take potential difference along this path also, it will come same. Okay, it doesn't matter. So I get potential difference between the two. Now I have two. Now I think of, after this, how do you find capacitance? I find capacitance equal to charge given between two junctions divided by potential difference. Charge given at junction is equal to Q1 by Q2. So I substitute these values. So actually by finding Q1, Q2, numerator and denominator, both I can express in terms of either Q1 or Q2 by suitable substitution. Q terms will cancel out. What is finally left is 7C by 5. I hope this part all you understood. Now what, yes Ahlan?
Sir, capacitors 2C and C are connected to the same potential, right?
See, we need to look at both ends.
Yes,
one
sir.
end is connected to the same potential, other end are not connected.
The plates that are connected to X.
Plates are connected to X. There's one plate. It has two terminals.
Sir,
one side is connected to X. Other also, are they connected to same potential other plates?
Oh, no.
They are not connected to same potential. Had this capacitor not been there, then this thing would have been the same potential. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now, some of you ask this question, can I solve without symmetry? Yes, we could have solved without symmetry also. In that case, what would happen? Rather than taking Q1, Q2, Q1, I have to take one more thing as Q3. If I have one more Q3, then what will I do? In this case, I have applied Kirchhoff loop rule in only one loop. I would have applied in one more loop also, Q3. I'm applying two loops, I'll get an equation not only between Q1 and Q2, I'll get a relationship between Q1, Q2, and Q3. When I solve Q1 and Q2, Q3, assume that I have given this charge is equal to Q3 here. Assume that I gave this charge Q3 here. What I'll find? I'll find Q1 will come equal to Q3. So some of it, Disha, did you follow what I said just now?
Yes.
No, so we can solve without assuming that Q1 and Q1 are equal. If I don't assume them to be equal, I will take some other variable Q3. In that case, what will happen? The loop rule what I applied in the, I got one equation in terms of Q1, Q2 by applying in the left loop. I did not apply in the right loop. Actually, if you try and apply this equation in the right loop also, you will get exactly the same equation. So already I have taken advantage of two loops by assuming the chart to be same. If I don't assume, I will have two equations, Q1 and Q2, Q3. Again, I can eliminate Q3, I can get equation between Q1 and Q2. But if I do so, I'll find the value of Q3 will come same. So some of you interested, we can try it out. We can solve with the basic chart distribution without assuming symmetry. So any question which we have, how do we solve? We can give chart distribution keeping in mind what? Keeping in mind when we give chart distribution, after we can give each capacitor different charge. If there are 5 capacitors, I can give charge Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, Q4, Q5. After giving charge, how do we simplify? We simplify using two principles. Which are the two principles we use to form equation? Can someone think of which are the two principles you use to form equation? As I said, if there are 5 capacitors, all of them I could have given a different charge, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, Q5. Then how do we simplify? Which two principles we can use to simplify and form equations? One, I am using loop rule. Other, I am using isolated system net charge being 0. Isolated system net charge being 0. So you'll find several. So here also, this also form an isolated system. This also form an isolated system. I will get as many isolated system. I'll get each isolated system one equation. Yes.
So when we look at symmetry, why do we interchange the terminals here? I didn't understand that analogy.
No. What I said something else. I said something. How do we logically think that charge should be same? My logical thinking was like this. What are logical thinking? When we define capacitor, it is not based on which polarity. Capacitor between X and Y is same as between Y and X. Understood this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if a capacitance in either way it is same, so if I connect positive terminal to X or I can negate a positive terminal to Y. Both cases potential difference should come same. Only the direction will change.
Yes, sir.
So if I connect positive terminal at X, from X to Y potential will drop. But if I connect positive potential from Y to X, potential will drop. So with potential difference, direction will change. So what will happen if potential remaining same, direction is changing? How is that happening? Because every capacitor, charge is remaining same, the polarity of charge is changing when I interchange the battery. You understood this point also?
Yes, sir.
You understood this point? What is the point? Tell me what you understood.
When we interchange the terminals, the polarity changes, but the charge remains same.
Charge remains same. Okay. Now I look at this. Suppose I connect X with I connected positive terminal to X. This has charge Q1, this has charge Q2. I don't know, I don't assume to be same. I have assumed what is charge on this one? Q1. On this charge? Q2. Okay. When X is connected to positive terminal. Afterwards, what I do? Now I connect positive terminal to Y.
Yes,
is the position of this C not identical to position of C with reference to this terminal, positive terminal here?
It is, sir.
So if one positive terminal is connected to X, if charge on this was Q1, when positive terminal is connected to Y, on this also charge should be Q1.
Okay.
What does it mean? So previous assumption what I made Q3 has to be equal to Q1.
Yes, sir.
So this is more of a logical explanation. Normally, people don't deal with this logical explanation, but this is something, okay, simply go by logic. Have you understood this point?
Yes, sir.
So I have not given mathematically also what you can do. There are 2 ways I explained. One, I have given a logical explanation, interchanging polarity and behavior of capacitors and charge distribution. Second is what you can do, we can assume them to be not to be equal, apply the basic principle and solve, you will find the charge will come same. When we solve, what are the equation? How do we form equation? We form equation based on 2 principles. Which principle do we use to form equations? Okay, just be quiet. Let me ask. Which 2 principles we use to form equation? Just 5 minutes back I mentioned. So which are the 2 principles we use, Ritika, to form equations? Hemant? No response. Again, I have to go back to Aditya.
Yes, sir.
Which 2 principles we use to form equations? Just 5
Sir,
minutes back.
Kirchhoff's loop rule and isolated system.
Very good. That's what you expect. Nice. Good. So this is something, and is that requires is too complicated? If you are attentive, yes, we can easily pick it up. Good, Aditya. And I don't know Hemant and Ritika. I'll check after the class. No response from 2 of them. Okay, so we can do that, and if we solve, we can prove this point. These 2 are equal. Okay, Disha, so far is clear everything?
Yes, sir.
Jaideep?
Yes, sir.
Kevin?
Yes, sir. It's clear.
Yeah. Okay, so we have gone a couple of times, and if not, you just have to mention number of ways, different points also. I hope all points are understood. Okay, again, I will take a question which can be solved in very easy way also, but I will solve just to illustrate certain principle. I'll solve with a complex method, then I'll tell you what is the easy method also. So this question, 2 battery kind of question. 2 battery and 2 capacitors are given, 12 volt battery, 13 volt battery, and 2 capacitors are connected. The question is, okay, what is the charge on the capacitor? Find the charge and potential difference across the capacitor. It's only one question. If you find charge, of course, you can find potential difference. How do you solve such question? I'll tell one method. And how do you help? So basically, what is method we assume? See, all cases, this battery connected. When a battery connected, it will transfer some charge from negative side plate to positive side plate. Or sometimes we say the battery will transfer a charge equal to Q. It means it will send a charge, and another saying it will send a charge plus Q here, it will send a charge minus Q here. I think the better definition, even S.C. Verma also used plus minus. I think better definition, battery is connected. It is not supplying net charge. It is only transferring charge. So what does the battery do? It will transfer charge equal to Q. So when it transfers from here, this plate will end up having charge minus Q, and this will have charge plus Q. Okay. And second assumption, what you're making, let the charge from positive to battery be plus Q. And I've taken millicoulomb. Why I've taken millicoulomb?
The charge won't come from the battery.
Pardon me? Yes, so battery doesn't generate any charge. It only transfers. Okay.
Already the charge was on the plate, so after connecting, it just moves it.
Yeah, basically what you see, when we connect the battery, what does battery do? Now from this charge, this connect to negative terminal. It will pick up charge. See, initially this charge was neutral. Suppose it transfers charge, it picks up charge Q and it moves from here to here. So what will happen, since charge Q has been taken away, this charge gets a charge of minus Q. This will end up as charging charge plus Q. If I take this whole system as isolated system, net charge is 0. Again, I'll come to that point. Okay. So what does battery do? From the point which is connected to negative terminal, it transfers the charge to point of side which is connected to positive terminal. This is transfer charge is Q, millicoulomb. Why I have taken millicoulomb? Because capacitance also is given in terms of millifarad. So both ratio will come in terms of voltage. And we also assume, because sometimes potential, let's assume the negative terminal potential to be 0. So these are 2 assumptions I make. Now I'll try to solve the circuit. Let's see how we do that. So what is charge distribution? We said this will get plus Q charge. Where from this come? It has come minus Q charge. Both ways you can say battery has transferred plus Q charge to this plate, it has transferred minus Q, which is not a great definition. Better is it has transferred charge Q from this plate to this plate. But once this has plus Q charge, all uncharged capacitors, net charge has to be 0. If this has plus Q charge, other plate has to have minus Q charge. Okay. So one thing what we noticed, this form an isolated system. You understood plus Q minus Q charge. We can also understand the box what I have drawn indicates an isolated system. Battery is net charge 0, and this has to be plus Q, this has to minus Q. Okay. Your point, Akash. No, that's it. So this is an isolated system. Net charge was initially 0, finally also 0. So this is minus Q plus Q. And this has plus Q, this has to be minus Q charge. And if this minus Q, this has to be plus Q charge. If I take this other isolated system also, net charge is 0. So this is the charge distribution. Any question?
No.
So this is charge distribution I have. Now other assumption what I made, I have ordained potential to be 0 here. Negative terminal potential is 0. If negative terminal potential is 0, what is the potential of the positive terminal? 13. Okay, as we go, potential will increase. So this plate, what is the potential? 13 volts. So we can mark the potential also. So potential positive plate is okay. And when we compare to this, okay. So and we also know compared to negative plate, positive plate of capacitor is higher by a potential equal to Q by C. I'll apply this principle and mark the potential. So this plate, what is the potential? 13 volts. This is 0 volts. Positive plate is 13 volt. And this plate of terminal, this plate of capacitor is connected. So this also is 13 volts. If this is 13 volts, what will be the potential of negative plate here? Positive plate here has potential of 13 volts. From here to here, there's a potential drop. What is the potential drop here? Why there's a drop? Because this is negative C. Q by C. Q by C. And since Q is in microcoulomb, so it is Q by 3. So potential drop will be Q by 3. So what is the potential at this point? 13 minus Q by 3. So I calculated potential of this plate, 13 minus Q by 3. Similar way to this path also, can I calculate potential at this point here? I can do so. This point is 0. So what is the potential of the positive plate here? Can we tell what is the potential of positive plate? It will higher by Q by 7. Q by 7. So this plate is Q by 7. Entire part is Q by 7. Even the negative plate of the battery also becomes Q by 7. What is the potential of the positive plate of the battery? This is Q by 7. It
12 minus
by
Q
how
by
much
7.
Q? 12 plus Q by 7.
12.
So I have got potential at this point is 12 Q by 7. This point is 13 minus Q by 3.
We can equate them.
They can equate them. That's how I find the charge. So we equate them, I get Q is equal to 2.1 microcoulomb. Okay. What is the other way I could have done? See, if I look at these two batteries, there's two batteries connected to same polarity or opposite polarity. Negative plate to negative plates are connected, not positive to positive plate, positive to negative. Okay. So actually these batteries, they are not acting in the same direction. These batteries are acting in the opposite direction. If I take a battery of 1 volt and if I take these two capacitors connected in series, I get the same charge distribution. I'll see that point later. Same charge on two capacitors connected in series to battery of 1 volt. Some of you think of it, why it is so, but if you solve, you get the same answer. And there's a reason behind it also. Try and understand reason on your own. We'll have some more examples of this later on. That's why I'm not going in more detail now. Okay. So this is why I solved, and I hope I understand how to solve two battery question. Okay. There are some question involving switch. So let's understand how do you solve, and switch kind of thing is also common. Whenever they see, actually switch means there was one circuit before when the switch was open. We have a different circuit when switch is closed. So whenever we have question involving switch, we should think of two states, one before circuit, after circuit. We draw two circuits, we solve two circuits, we get an answer to our question. So in this question, what we need to find extra charge flowing through the cell on closing the key K. When would extra charge will flow? When the capacitance increases. So does the capacitance change when we close the switch? That's what we need to understand here. So we'll draw one circuit open, switch open, one circuit closed. And each case will find out what is the charge from the battery. Extra charge sent is charge in the second case minus charge in the first case. So before case. What is before case? Switch is open. When the switch is open, this part of the circuit is not taking part. Then in this case, you understand, when the switch is open, this branch is of no use. Now this capacitor is connected, all three capacitors connected in parallel, identical potential points. So I can replace these three capacitors connected in parallel as 3C. Then 3C and C becomes in series. What is equivalent capacitance? C into 3C divided by C plus 3C, which is 3 by 4C. This was the initial equivalent capacitance connected between battery. If capacitance is given, can we find out charge also? Charge is C into V. So charge flow is equal to capacitance into. This was the charge flow initially when before condition. Before means switch was open. What happens when I close the switch? What happens when you close the switch? After we close the switch, this three pairs, when you close the switch, two ends become at the same potential. This point and this point potentials are same. If potentials are same, all three capacitors will not get any charge. They can be taken out of the circuit. So three parallel capacitors get shorted. The term what we use when two ends are equal potential is called they are shorted. Okay, both ends have the same potential. In that case, these three can be neglected. If these three are not there, there's only one capacitance C, and this is the circuit. This thing will go out of the circuit only along the blue line. If all three are gone, only one capacitance left. Capacitance changes to C. If C, final charge on the capacitor becomes CB. So initial charge was 3 by 4 CB, final charge becomes CB. It means how much extra charge has flown after we close the switch. Extra charge flown is CB by 4. So all switch question, two circuits, one before, one after. And with all the circuits, we get our answer. Okay. Next one. Okay. So this is something, not battery or something. 3 points are given. Point. This is how very strange looking. 3 uncharged capacitors. Important point is they are uncharged. Connected as shown across point A and B and C. Their ABC has certain potential. A has potential V1, B has potential V2, and C has potential V3. And these capacitors are C1, C2, C3. What we need to find potential of point O. How do we solve such question? See, can this O have any arbitrary value? It cannot have any arbitrary value. Why it cannot have arbitrary value? Depending on the potential at O, the charge on each capacitor depends on the value of potential at point O. The charge on the capacitor depends on the potential difference. So depending on charge of O, the charge on all three capacitors will change. So all three capacitors, charge on all three capacitors depend on what? Potential at point O. For different value of O, I'll have different charge. But can it take any arbitrary charge? No. If initially capacitors are uncharged, it means all three plates, initially they had zero charge. Afterwards also these three plates form isolated system. So potential should be such that sum of the charge on these three plates is equal to 0. That's how we have to find. Why there's a unique potential at point O? The unique potential point O is such that charge on three capacitors are distributed in a manner that sum of charge on these three plates connected to O has to be equal to 0. So that's a condition I need to apply. Now let's think of how to convert this into equation. How to convert this logic into equation. So have you followed what is the logic we said? What is the logic we are going to follow? Okay, let's see if some of you followed that part. Meghna, did you follow what I said in last few minutes about this question? Meghna?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I mentioned something in last few minutes related to this question. Can you tell me what did I say? I said something. Again, let me repeat the point. Let the potential be O. Then what I am assuming, charge on 3 plates connected to O. Charge on 3 plates regardless of whether V is higher or lower. Charge on the 3 plates will be equal to connected to O will be equal to first plate minus C1 into V1 minus V. It doesn't matter what the relative value of V1 and V2 are. If V1 is greater, this will be negative. If V1 is smaller than V, automatically turn out to be positive. I don't have to worry about the sign. So I have assumed similar way the charge on the second plate connected to O will be minus C2 into V2 minus V, and third one will equal to minus C3 into V3 minus V. And we'll see one more example later on. So these are the 3 charges. Some of these 3 charges have to be 0 as they are part of isolated system. So, on known V, which condition is applicable? Sum of charge is equal to 0. Conservation of charge in isolated system. I equate the whole thing to 0. When I equate this whole thing to 0, I get an expression of V. So that was one question. What I will do now, that question was more in terms of variables. Perhaps we don't get a good understanding of what is happening. This logic I'm going to apply in this question, which is in terms of better numbers. So what I expect all of you to do, this question, unlike previous question, voltage of A, B, C are given. Value of capacitance also are given. So we can find potential will come to a certain number. Can you, if you understood the logic from previous case, try and solve this question on your own. So I give you a couple of minutes to try and solve. Okay, so without knowing what the sign should be, if we apply, we can easily solve such questions which involve this kind of part of a circuit. Okay, Pinard symmetry. There are some simpler questions from your workbook. This question, I think most of you should be able to solve. All of you read the question. I think you should be able to solve this question without too much of trouble. This question is a combination of this topic and some small part of heat. So if all of you read the question, a fully charged capacitor has capacitance. It discharges through a small coil of resistance wire embedded in thermally insulated block of heat capacity S and mass M. So what is happening in this question? So initially, discharge means what? Initially, the capacitor had potential energy. Entire potential energy has been lost. If we write the sequence, loss of potential energy, first we use the term called heat dissipated in the resistor. Heat dissipated means heat lost in the. So heat dissipated in the resistor is equal to loss of potential energy, that is dQ. That heat is equal to mc delta T. That heat is being utilized for heating the surrounding material. That's the equation. So if you remove the middle part, the question is not related to the middle part. It is equal to loss of P is equal to ms, mass into specific heat capacity into change in temperature. So loss of potential energy 1/2 CV square is equal to ms into delta T, and we get this potential difference. So this was also fairly simple question.
Sir?
Yes?
Sir, I read a statement that the energy stored by a capacitor is half of the energy supplied by the battery.
Yes, we'll do that. And see, battery, what happens when a charge Q moves from negative plate to positive plates of battery? What is the gain in potential? The battery potential is V.
Q into V.
Q into V. So energy supplied battery is QV. But what is the potential energy stored in the battery? 1/2 QV.
Oh, half QV. Okay. Yes.
I will do some other time, maybe better understanding of that. It is something like this. See, okay, I'll give you some other examples, some understanding also why it is happening. This question also is a easy enough question, which most of you should be able to solve.
You can remove a capacitor in the middle.
Yeah, basically, yes, it is first thing what you notice. First thing we always start parallel. These two are in parallel. I can replace this one 2C, this also 2C, this also 2C, and this 2C. So 2C, 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 and it becomes like 5 capacitors. And whenever we have 5 capacitors, one connected across diagonal, it could be like a VT store. Then we can remove this capacitors shown in blue color. I can find equivalent capacitance most of you can, I think, should be able to solve this question without much of difficulty. First, you take this parallel, everything becomes 4, all on 4 sides becomes 2c each, and then I can, the one in the center can be removed. So this 2c in series, this 2c in series, finally both are in parallel. All of you should try and get an answer.